Have you ever felt like you're stuck in the same routine day after day, wondering why nothing seems to change? Well, what if I told you that the very routine you're following could be the reason you're not seeing the success you deserve? What if I told you that everything you're doing right now could be holding you back from reaching your true potential? In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the surprising truth about your daily routine, the truth that nobody is telling you. I'm going to reveal the secrets that successful people use to transform their lives, and how you can start using them right now to break through the limits you've been facing. This isn't about adding more tasks to your already packed schedule. It's about one powerful shift that could change everything. If you're ready to stop going through the motions and start creating the life you've always dreamed of, stay with me, trust me. What you're about to learn will not only change your routine, it will change your entire life. Let's get started. Number 1, your daily routine is your life on repeat. You wake up and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. It's a habit you've had for years. You scroll through emails, check the news, and before you know it, an hour's gone by. Maybe you didn't sleep well the night before, so you feel tired and sluggish, but it's time to get moving. You rush through breakfast, skip that morning workout, and head out the door just in time to make it to work. At work, you find yourself distracted, dealing with one fire after another, and when the day's over, you feel like you didn't accomplish much. Sound familiar? The truth is, this is the reality for so many people. And here's the kicker. The reason things aren't changing is because this routine is your life on repeat. What you're doing every day is what you'll be doing a month from now, a year from now, and maybe even 5 years from now if you don't change it. It's simple. Our routines shape our futures, whether we realize it or not. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Jim, that's not news to me. I know I need to change my routine, but it's hard. I don't know where to start, and that's okay. I get it. It can feel overwhelming when you're stuck in a routine that feels like it's been built over years, maybe even decades. But here's the truth. No one is telling you you are always repeating your life, whether you're conscious of it or not. What you do every day, no matter how small it may seem, is setting the stage for your future. If you wake up late every day and rush through the morning, that's a pattern. If you let your email inbox or your social media feed dictate your actions, that's a routine too. If you keep pushing off your health, your fitness, or your personal development, those are routines that are keeping you stuck. The truth is, success doesn't come from big one-time decisions. It comes from daily actions. Let me tell you something that might hit you hard. You are the sum of your daily routines. It's not about waiting for some big break. It's about how you handle the small moments, the daily choices that you make. Here's the thing. Most people don't realize just how much their routine affects their life. They think they'll eventually change, or that something will magically shift. But the problem is, if you keep doing the same things every day, you're going to keep getting the same results. If you're stuck, it's because your routine isn't serving you. You see, habits are powerful. They're the foundation of everything. They shape the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. They define your level of discipline, your work ethic, your energy, your health, and even your happiness. If you don't have the right habits, your life won't change. But if you change your habits, you change your life. Imagine for a second, waking up every morning with purpose. Picture a morning where you get up early. You don't reach for your phone. You don't get distracted. Instead, you focus on what matters. You have a morning routine that sets you up for success. You take care of your body with exercise or meditation. You eat a nutritious breakfast that fuels you. You write down your goals and review your plan for the day. Now let me ask you, what would that do for your life? What would it look like after just 1 month of doing this? After 3 months, 1 year, the change would be massive. You'd be more productive, healthier, and more focused. You'd be setting yourself up for success every single day. But here's the best part. It's not a mystery. It's not about talent or luck. It's about your routine. Look, I know it's easy to feel overwhelmed. I get it. You've probably tried to change your routine before and didn't stick with it. But the real question is, are you willing to look at your daily habits and make the necessary changes to move forward? Now let me be clear about something. This isn't about making huge changes overnight. It's not about turning your life upside down in a day. It's about small changes, tiny, consistent shifts that add up over time. For example, instead of hitting snooze when your alarm goes off, wake up and get up. Instead of scrolling through your phone for an hour in the morning, spend that time focusing on something that matters. Instead of skipping the gym, go for a walk. Instead of checking your email the moment you wake up, set aside time to plan your day. Here's the truth. When you change your routine, you change your life. Every single small action you take builds momentum, and that momentum carries you forward. It's like laying bricks for a house. It takes time, but eventually, you've built something solid. The key to success is in the little things. If you're tired of feeling stuck or overwhelmed, it's time to take a step back and assess your routine. What are the little things you're doing every day that are holding you back? And more importantly, what are the small shifts you can make to start moving forward? Here's the thing. You can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. If your routine is not serving you, change it. And I promise you, the results will follow. Because in the end, your routine is your life on repeat. The choice is yours. You can stay stuck in the same patterns, or you can make the decision right now to start changing those habits. What you do today will shape your future. If you want to take control of your life, you need to take control of your routine. And I'm telling you, once you do that, everything else will start to fall into place. So I want you to ask yourself, what kind of future do you want? And are you willing to change your routine to make it happen? The choice is in your hands, and you can make a decision today that will start shaping your tomorrow. You just have to take that first step. Start small, change one habit. That's where it all begins. And trust me, it's worth it. Number 2, the first hour of your day sets the tone. Every single day, we get one chance to set the tone for the rest of the day. And I'm telling you, the first hour of your day is everything. It's like a launch pad for what's to come. Think about it. When you wake up and start your day with intention, your entire day changes. But when you roll out of bed and just stumble into the day, it's like you're just drifting along without any real purpose. Now, you've probably heard this before, right? That the way you start your morning can influence the rest of your day. But let me ask you, have you ever really stopped to think about how powerful the first hour truly is? I mean, have you actually taken the time to examine how you spend it and what kind of impact it has on your productivity, your mindset, and your overall success? Here's the hard truth. Most people waste this hour. They wake up late, check their phones, scroll through emails, dive into social media, and before they know it, that first precious hour has slipped away, and they're already behind. And guess what? That sets the tone for the entire day. It's like you've already started the race, but you're 2 steps behind. You're playing catch-up before you've even really begun. Now let's be real. I'm not here to tell you that you have to be some kind of early riser who jumps out of bed and immediately starts meditating, doing yoga, and running marathons. That's not realistic for everyone. But here's what I am telling you. The first hour of your day should be spent intentionally. You have to control that first hour. Don't let it control you. If you're waking up and grabbing your phone, you're giving the world control over your time right from the start. You're letting your inbox, social media, and all the distractions pull you in before you've even had a chance to breathe. And if that's your morning routine, don't be surprised if the rest of your day feels chaotic, scattered, and out of control. But here's the kicker. The first hour doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to be filled with extravagant rituals or a crazy workout. It just needs to be focused. It needs to be something that sets you up for success, something that gives you clarity and momentum. Think about how much more powerful your day would be if you spent that first hour getting clear on your priorities. Imagine waking up, taking a moment to breathe, and then diving into something that aligns with your goals. Whether it's a few minutes of meditation to center your mind, reading a few pages of a book that inspires you, or writing down your top goals for the day. These are the things that set the tone for everything that follows. I can tell you from experience that the first hour of the day is like a foundation. If you lay a strong foundation, everything you build on top of it has a better chance of lasting. And if you spend that first hour running around in a panic, chasing distractions, or just reacting to the day, then that's exactly how the rest of your day is going to go. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to start your day in a rush. feeling overwhelmed and scattered. You have the power to decide how the first hour goes. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. to check off a long list of things to do. It's about giving yourself the chance to take control of your time and your focus from the moment you wake up. Think about the difference between someone who wakes up and jumps straight into their work and someone who takes a few minutes to set their intentions for the day. The person who takes those few moments is more likely to have a focused, productive day. They're less likely to be stressed, less likely to get distracted, and more likely to stay on track. The beauty of the first hour is that you get to decide how it goes. You're in control. You can start it off with purpose, or you can let it slip away. But here's the thing. How you start that first hour is going to impact everything that comes after it. If you start your day right, you set yourself up for success. If you start your day in chaos, well, you've already set yourself up for a lot of unnecessary stress. And let me tell you, it doesn't take a big overhaul to change the way you approach your mornings. It just takes one small change, one shift in how you wake up, how you approach that first hour. It doesn't matter if you're an early riser or if you love to sleep in. The key is to wake up with intention. Spend those first moments grounding yourself before the world demands your attention. Let's talk about what this might look like. Picture this. You wake up and instead of immediately checking your phone or rushing out of bed, you take a few deep breaths. You don't jump straight into your day. Instead, you spend a few minutes reflecting, planning, or just focusing on what matters most. Maybe you spend 10 minutes reading something that motivates you, or you journal for a moment to get your thoughts organized. You might do a short exercise or stretch to wake your body up. Or maybe you simply drink a glass of water and set your intentions for the day. Whatever it looks like for you, the goal is the same. Use that first hour to center yourself and build momentum. That's what sets successful people apart from the rest. It's not magic. It's routine. It's the power of starting your day with purpose and clarity. It's the ability to control your time before it controls you. And here's what happens when you start your day right. You carry that momentum throughout the rest of your day. You're more focused. You're more productive. You're more in control. That's because the first hour of the day creates a ripple effect. When you feel good about how your day started, it carries into every decision you make. When you start the day in a calm, intentional way, you're setting the tone for everything that follows. Your energy is better. Your mindset is sharper. You're more likely to make good choices, stay on track, and achieve what you set out to do. It doesn't matter what your morning routine looks like. What matters is that you're in control of it. What matters is that you start your day with purpose, and that's what will give you the momentum to crush the rest of it. If you take the time to set your intentions, to get clear on what you want, and to start your day with a sense of calm, you will find yourself achieving things you never thought possible. So here's the challenge I have for you. Tomorrow morning, take control of your first hour. Don't let it slip away. Don't let distractions pull you in. Spend that first hour doing something that sets you up for success. It could be anything that helps you feel grounded and focused, but whatever it is, make it intentional. Number 3, your routine is a reflection of your priorities. I want you to take a second and think about your daily routine. What does it really look like? What do you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed? Now I want you to ask yourself something very important. Does your routine actually reflect what's most important to you? Or does it just reflect what's easy, what's convenient, or what feels good in the moment? Here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. Your routine is not just some random set of actions. Your routine is a direct reflection of your priorities. Every choice you make throughout the day, whether you realize it or not, is telling the world. And more importantly, telling you what you value most. Now let's be clear. I'm not saying you're a bad person or that you're doing something wrong, but I am saying that if you're not happy with your life, your routine might be telling you exactly why. If you're not where you want to be, it's because your daily habits aren't aligned with your true priorities. Think about it. If your goal is to get fit, but you're skipping workouts every week, what does that tell you about your priorities? If your dream is to build a business, but you're spending most of your time scrolling through social media instead of working on your business, what does that really say about what you value? Here's the hard truth. We make time for the things that matter most to us. We show up for what we care about, even if it means sacrificing a little bit of comfort or convenience. But when we say we want one thing, Yet our actions show something completely different. That's when we start running into problems. The reality is your routine is shaping your life. It's creating your results, good or bad. And when you take a step back and really evaluate your daily routine, you'll see that it's telling you exactly where your focus is. Let me ask you this. If your routine is supposed to reflect your priorities, then why is it so hard to make the right choices? Why do we keep doing things that don't serve us? Why do we hit snooze when we know we should be up? Why do we grab junk food instead of making a healthy choice? Why do we procrastinate instead of doing the hard work? The answer is simple, because we're not really clear on what our priorities are. Or maybe we've let our priorities get muddied by distractions, bad habits, and the pressure of the world telling us what we should be doing. But here's the thing. If you want to change your life, you have to get clear on your priorities. And once you do that, your routine will naturally follow. You see, when you truly prioritize what matters most to you, your routine changes. If you want to get healthier, your routine will include exercise, eating better, and taking care of your body. If you want to build a successful business, your routine will include time for learning, growing, and taking consistent action. If you want to improve your relationships, your routine will include meaningful time spent with your loved ones. But here's the key. Your priorities are what drive your actions, and your actions are what drive your results. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all together. They're successful, healthy, happy, and in control. Have you ever noticed what they have in common? It's their routines. They've developed habits that are aligned with their priorities, and they're consistent about them. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's a deliberate, intentional routine that reflects what they care about. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But Jim, I'm so busy. There's not enough time in the day. And I get it. We all have the same 24 hours. And it feels like there's always something demanding our attention. But here's the thing. We always find time for what matters most. You find time to check your phone, don't you? You find time to watch your favorite TV show. You find time to hang out with friends. But somehow, when it comes to your dreams and your goals, you're always too busy. That's not a time problem. That's a priority problem. And it's up to you to change it. If you're serious about making a shift in your life, you've got to start by getting real about what matters most to you. What do you want your life to look like? What are your big goals? And are you willing to create a routine that supports those goals? Are you willing to do the things that might not feel easy in the moment, but will move you closer to the life you want? Here's what happens when you make your priorities clear. You start to make better choices. Your decisions will be guided by what you care about. And as a result, your routine will shift. You'll find yourself naturally spending time on the things that matter most. And over time, those small shifts will lead to massive changes in your life. Now, I know this isn't easy. I know that breaking old habits and creating new ones takes time. But I also know this, you have the power to choose. You have the power to decide where your time goes. If you don't like what your routine is telling you about your priorities, you can change it. It's in your hands. So what do you want your routine to say about you? What do you want your daily actions to reflect? Because let me tell you, your routine is like a mirror, showing you exactly what you value most. If you want to change your life, you have to be willing to change your routine. You have to be willing to align your actions with your priorities. It all starts with getting clear. Get clear on your priorities. Get clear on your goals. And then make sure your routine reflects that. Because when your routine aligns with your priorities, that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to see the results you've been dreaming about. Remember, your routine is a reflection of your priorities. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your routine. It's not about working harder or being more disciplined. It's about being intentional with where you put your time and energy. Focus on what matters, and everything else will fall into place. Number 4, the wrong routine can keep you stuck for years. It's easy to think that if you're busy all the time, you're making progress. We live in a world where being busy is almost seen as a badge of honor, right? People wear their hectic schedules like they're winning at life. But here's the hard truth. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're moving forward. In fact, the wrong routine can keep you stuck for years, spinning your wheels and going absolutely nowhere. Now let's be honest. We've all had those days, or even weeks, where we feel like we're stuck in a rut. Maybe you're putting in the effort, showing up every day, but at the end of the week, you look back and wonder, what did I actually accomplish? You've been running around, doing things, staying busy, but the results just aren't there. And that, my friend, is when you need to ask yourself, is your routine working for you or against you? I'll tell you something important here. The wrong routine is like a chain around your ankle. You think you're moving forward, but all you're really doing is dragging yourself around in circles. If your routine isn't aligned with your goals, if it isn't helping you move toward the life you want, then no matter how much time and effort you put in, you'll end up stuck. You'll feel like you're giving it your all, but the results just won't show up. And here's the kicker. When you're stuck, you can be stuck for a long time if you don't change what you're doing. Let's talk about what that might look like. Maybe you're in a job you don't enjoy, but every day you show up, put in the hours, and do the work. You're busy, you're checking off tasks, handling responsibilities, but at the end of the day, you don't feel fulfilled. In fact, you feel drained. Why? Because your routine isn't connected to your passion. It's not aligned with your purpose. You're spending your time and energy on things that don't serve you. You're putting all this effort into something that isn't helping you grow or get closer to your goals. The same goes for your health. Maybe you wake up every morning, grab a cup of coffee, skip breakfast, and sit at your desk for hours on end. You tell yourself, I'm busy, I don't have time to work out or eat right. And then months pass by, and you start to notice that you're feeling sluggish, out of shape, and low on energy. What happened? You've been following a routine, sure, but it's the wrong routine. And because you didn't make time for your health, you're now paying the price. But here's what I want you to realize. Your routine doesn't just reflect where you are today. It determines where you'll be tomorrow. The decisions you make today about how you spend your time, how you structure your day, how you treat your body, and how you invest in your personal growth, those decisions will shape your future. So if you're not happy with where you are right now, it's time to take a hard look at your routine and see if it's working for you or against you. Now, I know it's not always easy to change a routine. We get comfortable, we get used to the way things are, even if they aren't serving us. We get stuck in these habits and think, this is just the way it is. This is just my life. But that mindset will keep you stuck. It'll keep you trapped in the same cycle, doing the same things, getting the same results, and wondering why nothing is changing. Here's the truth. If you want different results, you have to change your routine. You can't expect things to improve if you keep doing the same thing over and over. You've got to step outside of your comfort zone. You've got to break the cycle and start taking action in a new direction. And it's going to take more than just wishing for change. It's going to take intentional effort. It's going to take commitment. But the good news is, it's entirely in your control. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you're stuck in a job that's draining you. You wake up every day, drag yourself to work, do what's expected of you, and go home, exhausted. But deep down, you know you're not meant to be in that job forever. You know you have bigger dreams. So what do? You could keep going through the motions, stay stuck in that same routine, and wait for things to magically improve. Or you could decide to make a change. You could start dedicating just an hour a day to working on the skills, building the network, or gaining the experience you need to move toward a career that excites you. The key is that you have to make the time. You have to change your routine. Now, don't get me wrong, changing your routine is not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but it starts with a decision. It starts with you acknowledging that what you've been doing isn't working and that you need to change it. The moment you make that decision is the moment you stop being stuck. It's the moment you take control of your life and start heading in the direction you really want to go. I also want to address something that often holds people back when it comes to changing their routine, and that's the fear of failure. The fear that if you try something new and it doesn't work, you'll be wasting your time. Let me tell you this, there is no such thing as failure if you're learning and growing. Even if something doesn't work out the way you planned, you're still gaining experience. You're still moving forward. Every time you try and fall short, you learn something that brings you closer to success. But here's the thing. If you keep following the same old routine, you'll never get the chance to learn and grow. You'll stay stuck. And that's a much bigger risk than trying something new and failing. The bigger risk is staying in the same place, doing the same thing, and not growing. That's the real trap. So what do you do if you realize that your current routine is keeping you stuck? The first step is to get honest with yourself. Take a step back and really look at what's happening in your life. Are you spending your time on things that matter? Are your daily actions aligned with your goals and values? If the answer is no, then it's time to make a change. And don't be afraid to start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire routine in one day. Start with one small change. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier to work on a side project, or setting aside time each day to work out. Whatever it is, just start with one thing that moves you toward where you want to be. And as you build momentum, you can start adding more changes. The key here is that you're taking action. You're not letting the wrong routine hold you back anymore. You're making decisions that will push you forward. And every time you make that choice, you're moving closer to the life you really want. Because here's the bottom line. The wrong routine won't just keep you stuck for a little while. It'll keep you stuck for as long as you let it. You have the power to change it. You have the power to break free from the cycle. You have the power to create a routine that moves you forward, not one that keeps you in place. So what's your next move? Are you ready to take control of your routine? Are you ready to get unstuck? Because the choice is yours. It always has been. Number 5. Your energy is controlled by your habits. Have you ever found yourself feeling drained, even after a full night of sleep? Or maybe you're one of those people who wake up feeling like you've already run a marathon and the day hasn't even started yet. You can't seem to get motivated. You're stuck in a rut. And no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get the energy you need to accomplish everything on your to-do list. Sound familiar? Well, here's the truth that a lot of people don't want to admit. Your energy levels aren't just determined by how much sleep you get or how much coffee you drink. Your energy is controlled by your habits. Yes, you heard me right. Habits. The little things you do every day, whether you realize it or not, are either draining you or fueling you. Every decision you make about how you spend your time, how you treat your body, and how you use your mental energy is either adding to or taking away from your overall energy. And the reality is, if you're constantly feeling tired, overwhelmed, or stuck, your habits are to blame. Now, I know this may sound like an oversimplification, but trust me, this is a powerful truth. Imagine for a second that your energy is like a bank account. Every time you make a positive decision, whether it's taking a walk, eating healthy, or practicing a little self-care, you're making a deposit into that energy account. But every time you make a negative decision, whether it's staying up too late, binge watching TV, skipping a workout, or overthinking, you're making a withdrawal from that account. And just like a real bank account, if you keep making withdrawals without making enough deposits, you're going to find yourself drained, exhausted, and running on empty. Let me ask you this. How many of you feel like you're constantly busy, but still feel like you don't have the energy to do anything that really matters? How many of you find yourselves doing things that you feel like you should do, but at the end of the day, you're so tired that you can't even focus on your real goals or dreams? That's because your habits aren't just affecting your productivity. They're affecting your energy on a much deeper level. Here's what most people don't realize. Energy isn't something you're either born with or not. It's something you can cultivate and control. Sure, there will be days when you feel tired or sluggish, but that doesn't mean you're stuck in that state forever. The way you start your day, the way you move your body, and the way you manage your mind, these all play a massive role in how much energy you have throughout the day. It's your habits that will determine if you're going to feel energized and productive, or if you're going to feel drained and stuck. Let's start with your morning. How you start your day has a huge impact on how much energy you'll have throughout the day. If you're the type of person who hits the snooze button multiple times, drags yourself out of bed at the last possible second, and then starts your day by checking your phone or scrolling through social media, what kind of energy do you think that's going to give you? I'll tell you, it's not the kind of energy that's going to help you tackle your goals. It's the kind of energy that's going to leave you feeling scattered, unfocused, and stressed out before your day has even begun. But let me show you a different approach. What if, instead of hitting the snooze button, you woke up 5 or 10 minutes earlier and used that time to center yourself? What if you took a few deep breaths, set an intention for the day, or did something that energizes you, like stretching or drinking a glass of water? That small shift can make all the difference in the world. When you start your day with intention, you're not just going through the motions, You're setting yourself up for success, and that's going to give you the energy to get through the rest of the day with focus and clarity. Next, let's talk about your physical habits. This one is huge. If you're not moving your body, you're not giving yourself the energy you need. Sitting at a desk all day staring at a screen and not making time to move your body is one of the quickest ways to drain your energy. But when you make exercise a regular part of your routine, you're not just boosting your physical health, you're boosting your energy levels too. It doesn't have to be a crazy intense workout. It can be something as simple as taking a walk after lunch, stretching in the morning, or doing a quick yoga session at home. The key is that you're moving your body, getting your blood flowing, and giving your mind the break it needs. The more you move, the more energy you'll have, plain and simple. But energy isn't just physical. It's also mental and emotional. And I can't tell you how many people are constantly draining their mental energy by engaging in negative thinking patterns. We've all been there. You know, when your mind starts racing, you start worrying about all the things that could go wrong, or you replay conversations in your head over and over. This mental chatter is a huge energy drain. And the worst part, it keeps you stuck. It keeps you in a loop of worry and stress that drains your energy and makes it harder to focus on what really matters. So what can you do about it? It starts with awareness. If you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern, don't just let it keep going. Challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is this helping me? And then shift your focus. Focus on the positive. Focus on what you can control. Practice gratitude. These small mental shifts won't just change the way you think, they'll change the way you feel. And when you feel better mentally, you're going to have more energy to tackle whatever comes your way. Lastly, let's talk about your habits when it comes to rest and recovery. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're robbing yourself of energy. I get it. We all live busy lives, and sometimes it feels like there's just not enough time in the day. But you can't keep burning the candle at both ends and expect to feel energized. Sleep is one of the most important habits you can develop for your overall well-being. When you sleep well, your body gets the chance to recover, repair, and recharge. When you don't sleep enough, everything else starts to suffer. Your mood drops, your focus weakens, and your energy levels plummet. So if you're serious about feeling better, it's time to make sleep a priority. Here's the bottom line. Your energy is not some mysterious force that you have no control over. It's a direct result of your habits. The good news is, you have the power to change those habits. You have the power to create a routine that energizes you, rather than drains you. It's all about making the small, consistent choices every day that add up to big results. So if you're tired of feeling drained, if you're tired of running on empty, it's time to take a look at your habits and make a change. Remember, the energy you put into your day is the energy you'll get out of it. So start taking control of your habits and start taking control of your energy. You've got this. Number 6, the power of the one small shift rule. Let's talk about the power of the one small shift rule. You see, most people believe that in order to create lasting change in their lives, they need to make huge, dramatic shifts all at once. They think they have to completely overhaul their routine, their habits, their mindset all in one go. And when they fail to live up to that expectation, they give up, feeling defeated, like they're not capable of making any real change at all. The truth is, that kind of thinking is exactly what keeps people stuck. The fact of the matter is, you don't have to make a big sweeping change in order to see improvement. In fact, sometimes the smaller shifts you make can have a far greater impact than anything dramatic. Let me tell you something that I've learned over the years. It's not the big dramatic changes that make the biggest difference. It's the small, consistent changes that add up over time. Asterisk. And that's where the power of the one small shift comes in. Think about it. If you wanted to get in shape, you don't need to sign up for a crazy boot camp or try to do a 30-day challenge. Sure, those things can be motivating, but they're not sustainable in the long run. Instead, imagine if you made just one small shift, like committing to walking for 20 minutes every day. That's it, nothing fancy. But over the course of a month, a year, or even longer, that one small shift can lead to massive results. You'll be amazed at how quickly you start feeling better, both physically and mentally. You'll have more energy, feel stronger, and even notice changes in your mood. And the best part, you'll have created a lasting habit that becomes second nature, something you don't have to force yourself to do. Now let me tell you a secret. Most of the time, the hardest part of any change is just getting started. But when you break things down into smaller, more manageable steps, it becomes so much easier to take that first step. It doesn't feel as overwhelming. When you focus on just one small change, you remove the pressure. There's no need to try and fix everything all at once. You just need to focus on that one shift, and let that be the catalyst for everything else that follows. And here's the thing, once you start seeing results from that one small shift, it'll give you the confidence and momentum to make even more changes. It's like a snowball effect. Small changes lead to bigger changes. And before you know it, you've completely transformed your life, all by starting with just one thing. Let's take a closer look at this idea of small shifts. What does it look like in practice? Maybe for you, it's deciding to drink a glass of water as soon as you wake up in the morning. Sounds simple, right? But that one shift can set the tone for your day. You're hydrating your body, waking up your system, and starting the day with a positive action. And after a few weeks of consistently doing this, you'll start noticing that you feel better. You feel more awake, more focused, and more energized. And guess what? That one small shift might lead you to make another shift. Maybe you'll start eating a healthier breakfast. Maybe you'll start moving your body a little more. It all starts with that one shift and the momentum it creates. Another example, let's say you want to improve your mindset and reduce stress. Instead of trying to change everything about your mental state all at once, start with one small change. Perhaps it's committing to 5 minutes of meditation every morning. 5 minutes, that's it. But after a week of doing this consistently, you'll start to notice a shift in how you feel. You'll find yourself calmer, more centered, and more able to handle the stress that comes your way. And once you've mastered that 5 minutes, maybe you'll extend it to 10 or 15 minutes. The beauty of the one small shift rule is that it's not about overwhelming yourself. It's about making gradual, manageable changes that lead to lasting results. I want to emphasize this point. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. People often get discouraged because they expect instant results. But real change takes time. You won't see immediate, dramatic transformations. But if you keep showing up, even in small ways, over time you'll be amazed at what you've accomplished. It's those small, consistent actions that build momentum, and momentum is what leads to real transformation. I've seen this principle play out in my own life and in the lives of countless others. I've worked with people who've completely transformed their lives, not by making giant leaps, but by taking small, manageable steps toward their goals. It's always the same. One small change, then another, then another. Before you know it, you're living a completely different life. You've built new habits, created new routines, and developed a new mindset, all from the power of one small shift. Here's something else to think about. The beauty of the one small shift rule is that it's adaptable to any area of your life. It's not just about fitness or productivity. It can be applied to any goal or area where you want to improve. If you want to grow your business, instead of trying to change everything about your approach, focus on one small shift. Maybe it's setting aside 30 minutes a day to work on your business, instead of scrolling through social media. Maybe it's reaching out to one new potential client or customer each week. That one small shift done consistently can lead to incredible growth. Or let's say you want to improve your relationships. Instead of overhauling everything about how you communicate, start with one small shift. Maybe it's being more present when you're talking to someone, putting your phone away, and really listening. Maybe it's making an effort to express gratitude more often. That one small shift can deepen your connection and create more meaningful relationships over time. The beauty of small shifts is that they don't require massive effort, and they don't leave you feeling overwhelmed. They don't require a complete overhaul of your life. Instead, they give you something actionable, something you can actually do without burning out. And that's what makes it so powerful. You're not setting yourself up for failure by aiming for perfection. You're setting yourself up for success by focusing on progress. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one small shift to make today. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Just pick something. It could be something as simple as drinking more water, going to bed a little earlier, or taking 5 minutes in the morning to practice gratitude. Make that one small shift and commit to it every day. Don't try to change everything at once. Just focus on that one shift. and watch how, over time, that small change leads to bigger changes and greater results. I promise you. This approach works. The key to transformation isn't about taking giant leaps. It's about taking small, consistent steps. That's where real, lasting change happens. And once you get started with that one small shift, you'll be amazed at how everything starts to fall into place. So start small, but think big. Your future self will thank you for it. Number 7, your routine determines your self-discipline. This might sound simple, but it is absolutely profound. And it's something I wish more people understood earlier in life. The truth is, self-discipline is not some magic trait that only a select few are born with. It's not reserved for the ultra-successful or the so-called naturally disciplined people. Self-discipline is something you can cultivate and strengthen over time. And it all starts with your daily routine. Now you might be thinking, I know all this. I've heard about self-discipline before. But here's the kicker. It's not just about making big, grand gestures. It's about the small things, the everyday actions, the habits, the little decisions you make each and every day. I want you to picture this. If you're trying to build a house, the foundation is the most important part, right? Without a solid foundation, the house will crumble, no matter how beautiful the rest of it is. Your routine is your foundation, and your self-discipline is built upon it. Here's a simple reality check. If your routine is chaotic, if it's filled with distractions and bad habits, then your self-discipline will struggle. It's like trying to drive a car with a broken steering wheel. You're not going to get far. But when you structure your day with intention and purpose, when your routine reflects your priorities, you start creating an environment where self-discipline becomes almost automatic. That's how powerful a well-crafted routine can be. It doesn't just help you get things done. It shapes who you are and who you are becoming. Let's break this down a little bit more. When you start your day, what are the first few things you do? Do you hit the snooze button and groggily stumble out of bed? Or do you jump up, eager to tackle the day? Your morning routine sets the tone for everything that follows. It's like the first few minutes of your day are like a preview for the rest of it. If you wake up with a sense of purpose, if you start your day with a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, you're already ahead of the game. But if you start the day by rushing, by reacting instead of acting, then you're setting yourself up for a day full of distractions, procrastination, and poor decisions. And that's exactly what happens when you don't have control over your routine. Everything becomes a reaction. You let the day happen to you instead of happening to the day. You're a passenger in your own life, instead of being the driver. And let me tell you, if you want to build self-discipline, you have to take the wheel. You have to be proactive, not reactive. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike, because let's face it, motivation comes and goes. It's about creating the habits, the routines, and the structure that will keep you moving forward, even when motivation isn't around. The great thing about routines is that they provide consistency, and consistency is the cornerstone of self-discipline. Think about it. If you were to work on a project for just 15 minutes every single day, no matter what, you'd be surprised at how much progress you'd make over time. You might not feel like doing it some days, and that's okay. But when you have a routine in place, the decision is already made for you. You've already committed to it. And as a result, your brain doesn't have to waste energy deciding whether or not to follow through. It just happens. Here's another thing about routine. It helps you avoid decision fatigue. When you don't have a set routine, you're constantly making decisions throughout the day. And that can wear you down. Should you go for a run? Should you check your email now or later? Should you eat that unhealthy snack? Or wait until your next meal? These decisions, while seemingly small, add up. But when you have a routine, many of these decisions are already made. Your brain has the space and energy to focus on what matters most, because you've already planned out the rest of your day. And speaking of energy, routine plays a huge role in energy management. The more consistent your routine, the better you're able to manage your energy throughout the day. Think about it. When you wake up at the same time each day, when you eat meals at regular intervals, when you exercise or get moving at the same time, your body learns how to function efficiently. You're not constantly reacting to the ups and downs of your energy levels. You're proactively managing your energy, which allows you to stay focused and productive throughout the day. I can already hear some of you saying, "But Jim, my schedule isn't always predictable. Life gets in the way, and I don't always have control over how my day goes." And I get it. Life happens, and it's impossible to control everything. But here's the thing. Your routine doesn't have to be rigid. It's about creating structure, but it's also about being flexible when life throws you a curveball. Flexibility is a key part of self-discipline too. When things don't go as planned, instead of throwing in the towel, you simply adapt and get back on track as soon as possible. That's what separates the disciplined people from the rest. They don't let a setback completely derail them. They adjust, they move forward, and they keep their eyes on the bigger picture. Think about some of the most disciplined people you know. What do they all have in common? I'll tell you, they have routines. They have systems that allow them to keep moving forward, no matter what. Whether it's a morning routine that sets them up for success, a work routine that helps them stay focused, or a health routine that keeps them energized. They have structure, and that structure is the backbone of their self-discipline. Now I want you to ask yourself, what does your routine look like? Does it reflect your priorities, your values, and your goals? Or does it reflect the things that are draining your energy, distracting you, or pulling you in a million different directions? If you want to build self-discipline, you need to take a hard look at your routine and make sure it's aligned with what you truly want. Because here's the truth. Your routine is a reflection of your discipline. If you're not disciplined in your routine, you won't be disciplined in other areas of your life either. It's all connected. Your routine shapes your habits shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your results. And at the end of the day, those results are the direct result of your self-discipline. So if you're not getting the results you want, take a hard look at your routine. Is it helping you stay disciplined, or is it sabotaging you? I'm not saying you need to have a perfect routine. Perfection doesn't exist. But what I am saying is that you need a routine that works for you, one that helps you stay focused, productive, and energized. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler, the better. The key is consistency. Build small, sustainable habits into your routine and commit to them every day. Over time, those small habits will compound, and before you know it, you'll have built the self-discipline you need to succeed in every area of your life. So take control of your routine. Make it work for you. Make it reflect your priorities, and watch how your self-discipline grows stronger and stronger. The more disciplined you are in your routine, the more disciplined you'll be in everything else. And the best part, you'll be well on your way to achieving your goals. Number 8, consistency beats intensity. Every time. You've probably heard people talk about going all in, about burning the boats and giving everything you've got, right? And that's great in some situations. But let me ask you, how many of us can really maintain that level of intensity day after day? You can't expect to go 110 miles an hour all the time and not burn out. It's just not sustainable. What works far better, what truly gets you results, is consistency. The quiet, steady, reliable effort over time. Now I know what you're thinking, but Jim, I want to make big changes. I want to see rapid transformation. And trust me, I get that. We all want to see fast results. It's exciting. It feels like you're making progress, like you're gaining momentum. But here's the thing. It's not about how fast you can go in the beginning. It's about how long you can keep going. The reality is, big changes take time. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. And anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. Real, lasting results come from showing up, day in and day out, with a consistent effort. Think about the most successful people you know, the ones who seem to have it all together. Are they the ones who work themselves to exhaustion for a week or two and then crash? No, the most successful people I know, the ones who have truly built something of value, have mastered the art of consistency. They don't try to reinvent the wheel every day. They don't expect instant success. They understand that the secret to winning is showing up regularly, doing the right things over and over, and not quitting. Now, consistency doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to give 100% every single day. Life happens, and you're going to have off days. That's normal. What matters is that you keep going. You don't let one bad day, one slip up, or one failure derail you. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you keep at it. That's the real key to success. It's not about how hard you go when you're feeling motivated. It's about how much effort you're willing to put in when motivation is nowhere to be found. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to get in better shape. It's easy to start with a bang, right? You hit the gym every day for a week, eating healthy, tracking everything you do. You're feeling great, and everything's moving forward. But then life gets busy. You miss a workout. You grab a fast food meal because you don't have time to cook. And before you know it, that once strong momentum starts to fade. You stop going to the gym, and that healthy eating habit goes out the window. You're back to square one. Sound familiar? Now here's the twist. Instead of trying to crush it every day with intensity, what if you focused on showing up every day, even if it was just for a quick workout? What if you committed to doing something every day, no matter how small, that kept you moving in the right direction? That could mean 20 minutes at the gym instead of an hour. It could mean having a salad instead of fries. It might not feel like much in the moment, but over time, those small actions build up. They compound. And before you know it, you're in the best shape of your life, not because you went all out for a week, but because you stayed consistent. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't require motivation. It doesn't require you to be in the mood. When you make a commitment to yourself to show up, even when you don't feel like it, that's when the real magic happens. And don't be fooled by the allure of intensity. Intensity is a spark. It gets you excited. It gets you fired up. But consistency is what keeps the fire burning. And here's another thing about consistency. It gives you momentum. Have you ever tried to push a car that's stuck in the mud? At first it's hard. It feels like you're not getting anywhere. But the more you push, the more momentum you build. And eventually that car starts to move. That's exactly how consistency works. It might feel slow at first, but every small effort adds up. And before long, you're moving at a pace you never thought possible. But I want you to understand something. Momentum isn't just about physical effort. It's also mental. When you commit to showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, you start to train your mind. You start building mental resilience. Your brain starts to understand that quitting isn't an option, and that consistency is non-negotiable. You begin to reinforce the belief that you're someone who follows through, and that belief becomes part of who you are. That's what separates successful people from the rest. They don't quit when things get hard. They stay consistent, no matter what. Here's the deal. If you want to achieve big goals, if you want to accomplish something that truly matters to you, consistency is the answer. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to make progress every single day. And when you do that, when you make consistency your habit, you'll start to see results that are far more powerful and lasting than any short burst of intensity could ever provide. Think about this for a moment. If you're consistent in your efforts, even when they're small, you're building a habit. And habits are what shape your life. Every time you make the choice to show up, to put in the work, you're reinforcing the kind of person you want to be. You're not just chasing success, you're becoming the person who is worthy of that success. And here's the final truth about consistency that most people don't understand. Consistency is the key to long-term success. It's easy to get excited about a new goal or project. It's easy to dive in head first, feeling like you're going to conquer the world. But after the initial excitement fades, it's the consistent effort that makes all the difference. It's the slow and steady progress that gets you across the finish line. So let me ask you this. Are you willing to trade short bursts of excitement for steady, reliable effort over time? Are you willing to show up every day, even when it's hard, and trust that your consistency will pay off? If you are, then you're already ahead of the game. The most successful people don't rely on bursts of intensity. They rely on consistency. And when you commit to consistency, you'll find that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. In the end, the question isn't whether you can handle intensity. It's whether you can commit to consistency. Because consistency, my friend, will always win the race. It's the quiet force that powers the greatest achievements in life. And if you can master it, you'll be unstoppable. Number 9, the best routines remove distractions, not just add good habits. You know, there's a lot of noise out there about building the perfect routine. It's like everyone has their own list of must-dos to make your day go perfectly. But here's the thing that most people miss. It's not about adding more and more good habits into your routine. It's about removing distractions and eliminating the things that are holding you back. And this is where most routines fail. Let me ask you something. How often do you find yourself getting distracted during the day? Maybe it's your phone buzzing every few minutes. Or maybe it's the endless notifications popping up from social media, emails, or texts. Or even worse, you might get caught up in meetings or conversations that don't add any value to your life or your goals. We've all been there. In fact, many of us are there right now, without even realizing it. Here's the truth. The best routines aren't the ones that fill every minute with activities. The best routines are the ones that create space for focus by cutting out all the distractions. Imagine your day like a bucket. You've got a limited amount of space in that bucket. If you fill it with distractions, things that don't move you forward, there's no room for the things that actually matter. Your goals, your health, your relationships, your personal growth. So if you want to create a truly effective routine, it's not about cramming more stuff in. It's about removing what doesn't belong. Now I know some of you might be thinking, but Jim, I've got so many things to do. How can I possibly remove things from my routine? And I get that. The world today is busier than ever, and it often feels like there's something pulling at you from every direction. But here's the key. Just because something feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. The real challenge isn't finding things to add to your routine. It's finding the courage to say no to the distractions that waste your time. Think about it for a moment. How much of your day is spent on things that are just busy work? You know, those tasks that feel important in the moment, but in reality don't really move you closer to your bigger goals. Maybe you check your email first thing in the morning, instead of taking that first hour for yourself. Or maybe you get sucked into scrolling on your phone, spending hours on social media or news sites, only to realize later that you didn't accomplish anything meaningful. Here's the problem. The more distractions you allow into your day, the less mental energy and focus you have for the things that truly matter. And if you're always reacting to everything that's thrown at you, you're never going to get ahead. You'll feel like you're busy all the time, but you'll never feel like you're getting anywhere. So what can you do about it? The first step is to become intentional about where your energy goes. If you want to build a routine that supports your success, you have to actively create space for the things that matter. And that starts by getting rid of distractions, cutting out the time wasters, the unimportant tasks, and the things that drain your focus. Let me give you an example. Think about your phone. It's probably one of the biggest distractions in your life, right? I mean, how many times have you picked it up for something important, only to find yourself scrolling through Instagram or responding to a text that didn't really need your attention? Those moments add up. They take away from your focus, your energy, and your time. So one of the most powerful things you can do is to remove that distraction. Put your phone on silent, turn off notifications, or even leave it in another room while you're working on something important. By removing that distraction, you create the space to focus on the things that will move you forward. Another area where people get distracted is in their environment. Take a look at your workspace or your home right now. Is it cluttered? Are there things around you that pull your attention away from what you need to do? A cluttered environment leads to a cluttered mind. When you have too many things around you, your brain is constantly processing all that information, whether you realize it or not. So take a step back and ask yourself, what can I remove from my space to make it easier to focus? It could be cleaning up your desk, removing unnecessary items, or even organizing your digital space, your computer files, or your phone apps. The more streamlined and organized your environment, the less mental energy you waste on distractions. But here's the truth. Distractions aren't just physical. They can also be mental. Your own thoughts can be the biggest barrier to building an effective routine. If you're constantly thinking about all the things you should be doing, or if you're overwhelmed by the pressure to be perfect, that's a huge distraction. The best routines give you the mental space to focus on what's truly important. And sometimes that means getting your mind clear, quieting the noise, the worries, the to-do lists, and focusing on the task at hand. Now let's talk about something else that most people overlook when it comes to routines. In a world where we're constantly plugged in, where people expect instant responses, it's so easy to let other people dictate your time. But if you want to build a routine that serves you, you have to set clear boundaries. This means saying no to things that don't align with your priorities, whether it's an unnecessary meeting, a phone call, or a request that you don't have the time or energy for. When you set boundaries, you're not just protecting your time, you're protecting your energy. You're creating space for the things that matter most, your goals, your well-being, your relationships, and saying no to the things that drain you. And let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. When you prioritize your time and energy, you set yourself up for success. At the end of the day, the best routines aren't about adding more to your life. They're about removing what doesn't serve you. It's about clearing away the distractions, the clutter, and the things that are holding you back, so you can create space for the things that truly matter. And when you do that, when you focus on what's important and eliminate what's not, you'll be amazed at how much more productive, focused, and fulfilled you feel. It's the simplest shift, but it's one of the most powerful. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it with intention, purpose, and focus. So take a moment today to ask yourself, what can I remove from my routine? What distractions are standing in my way? And most importantly, what can I do to create more space for the things that really matter in my life? When you make that shift, you'll find that your routine becomes your ally, not your enemy. And with that, everything else will fall into place. Number 10, change your routine, change your life. You've heard it 1,000 times. If you want to change your life, you need to change your routine. But let's be real for a moment. It's easier said than done, right? So many people have this vision of the perfect routine. They think it's the key to success. But here's the catch. The way you approach your routine matters more than the routine itself. If you want to change your life, you have to change your routine. And more importantly, you have to change the way you view your routine. Most people look at routines as a set of actions they need to follow to get from one point to the next. You wake up, go through your habits, tick off your to-do list, and then go to bed. But here's what they don't tell you. The power isn't in the action itself. It's in the shift. It's in how you show up for the actions that matter the most to you. Because if your routine doesn't align with your goals, your values, and your vision for your life, it's going to keep you stuck, no matter how many tasks you check off that list. You've got to start with this fundamental truth. Your routine is your life, on repeat. If you're stuck in a routine that's not serving you, you're stuck in the same cycle every single day. That's why changing your routine isn't just about tweaking a few habits here and there. It's about changing the mindset you have around how you approach each day. It's about getting intentional about where your energy goes and making sure it's focused on what really matters. The best part about changing your routine, it's in your hands. You have the power to take control of how you show up every day. And that's where the magic happens. But here's the thing. Change is hard. We're creatures of habit. And breaking old routines can feel like fighting against gravity. It's comfortable to stay in the same place, even when we know it's not serving us. But I'm here to tell you that nothing will change until you take that step and shift your routine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be different. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, thinking about all the things you should be doing differently, don't worry. You don't need to change everything at once. The power is in the small shifts. Maybe it's as simple as changing the way you start your day. Maybe it's setting aside just 15 minutes in the morning to focus on your goals. Or maybe it's removing one distraction that's been taking up too much of your time. Start with small changes that lead to big shifts. One small change can create a ripple effect that eventually transforms your entire routine, and with it, your life. Here's the truth. When you change your routine, you change your life. It's not just about the actions you take. It's about the mindset you adopt around those actions. When you get intentional about how you spend your time and energy, you'll be amazed at the results. But it's important to remember that it's a process. Just like anything worth doing, changing your routine takes time. It's not about being perfect from the start. It's about showing up every day and making progress. Every small step counts. So what does this look like in practice? Maybe it means waking up 30 minutes earlier to focus on something meaningful before the world starts demanding your attention. Maybe it means cutting out time spent on things that drain you, like checking social media first thing in the morning, and instead investing that time into something that helps you grow, whether that's reading, journaling, exercising, or working on your goals. The key to success isn't adding more to your plate. It's about removing the things that aren't moving you forward. When you make room for the things that matter most, you give yourself the space to succeed. And the beautiful thing is, success doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need a 10-step process or a secret formula. Success is about consistent effort and commitment to the things that make a difference in your life. Here's a simple truth. Changing your routine is the fastest way to change your life. But it's not just about setting new goals or waking up early. It's about aligning your actions with your purpose. When you wake up every day with a clear sense of direction, with a routine that supports your goals, that's when you start seeing real change. And when you're intentional about every step you take, when you're focused on your priorities, success becomes a natural byproduct. But here's the thing. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget about the most important part of the routine, the intention behind it. You can wake up at 5 a.m., go for a run, meditate, eat a healthy breakfast, and check all the boxes. But if you're not clear about why you're doing it, none of it will matter. Routines are powerful when they align with your vision for your life. It's about connecting every action with a purpose. When you do that, you'll find yourself not only more productive, but more fulfilled. Now, I want you to think about your routine for a moment. Is it aligned with your goals? Is it moving you closer to the life you want to create? Or are you just going through the motions? If you're not where you want to be in life, take a hard look at your routine. It's a reflection of who you are and what you value. If you don't like what you see, change it. Take control of your routine, and you take control of your future. And this is where it gets exciting. Because when you start making small shifts, when you start showing up for yourself every day, you begin to create momentum. That momentum builds, it compounds, and over time, the changes you make in your routine will add up to big transformations. It's the law of consistency, doing something small and simple over and over again, until it becomes second nature. Remember, it's not about perfection. You don't have to have everything figured out from day one, but you do have to start, because your routine is a reflection of your life. And when you change your routine, you change your life. You become more focused, more intentional, and more aligned with the person you want to become. And that's the most powerful thing you can do. So take a moment to think about your routine. What changes can you make today that will move you closer to the life you want? What actions can you take that will help you become the best version of yourself? Start small, stay consistent, and watch your life begin to transform. Because when you change your routine, you change everything.